Something that I did and I realized I forgot to share with you guys is that I did a little update video, I think right before I went home. I posted it on Instagram TV or IGTV or whatever the heck you call it. But I couldn't share it on YouTube because the only way to post videos on YouTube is to post a video. There's no, like, I can't post it in my community tab or anything like that. So if you guys are looking for an update on all the cars, definitely go check that out on the Instagram. And this morning I was hoping to start on the Genesis because that's what I was saying I wanted to do next. I wanted to get the BRZ to where I can drive it every day. There's still some things that need to be done with it, but like we have other projects that are more in need of my attention. I wanted to do that, and then I wanted to move on to the Genesis and the S10. This morning I woke up and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna work on the Genesis because I could do like 2 months of straight videos on all the stuff we have to do in the Genesis. I have a lot to do on this car. And then when I got here, I saw my little buddy. This little man, this little Opel man, just sitting here, taking up space and being a dookie. So going against everything that's inside of me telling me to just go with what's gonna be fun and do what I wanna do, I'm actually gonna not do that, and today we're just gonna try and wrap up this Opel because I wanna get this thing out of here, get it out of the shop so I have some more room because lots of the stuff we have for the Genesis it's gonna take up a lot of space. Before I get started on any of that, I just wanna say thank you to the sponsor of today's video, which I just tripped on the stairs. It's Copart. Copart is an online auction website. You guys know that's where I picked up the Genesis from. I got an amazing deal on it online. So if you guys like have been working crazy and now you're laid off and you guys are just at home bored and you can start a project, or if you're just a business that needs like a parts car or anything, something that Copart is doing right now is they actually are still open. I really do encourage you guys to go in there and register. You don't have to buy anything, you don't have to spend any money, you don't have to do anything, but if you register, you can join the auctions and just kind of like feel it out, see what it's all about. Copart is still open. I recommend you guys go on there and check them out, and huge shout out and thank you to Copart for sponsoring today's video and helping make everything we do here possible. Alright, so Derek actually came by right before I went home and dropped off a bunch of parts, which was nice. We got a different style fuel pump, but he said that he would rather have the electric one anyways. Random temperature sensors. We got brake pads, dude. These, you'll see these are fun. And we got all the new distributor parts. This is the most important box right here. So, we have a new cap, which actually looks a lot nicer than the other one does. A bunch of new wires. There's a lot of these sensors. I'm not 100% sure what they all are. So we have a new, I believe you would call this guy the igniter chip, or rotator, something. And I think this is the key part, is we needed this guy here. The other one was 100% dead. Hopefully putting this guy on there works. There's still a handful of work that needs to get done, but just like we were doing last time, I'm gonna start with just trying to get this thing to run, because once it runs, you guys saw how quick we put on all the windows, and we got this whole thing like really assembled really quickly, but we just need the engine to run, because without that, we're not getting anywhere, we're not making any progress, and it's really bumming me out. I'm gonna let the motivation of really wanting to get on the Genesis get me going today, and I'm just gonna go full steam ahead, full send. We gotta get this car finished up. This one has new wires on it. I know they look old because they've been sitting around, but apparently this has never really actually been installed. So these have new spark plug wires, and the inside has not a single crack in it. So we're gonna update with that with the new one, and then again, this little thing. Okay, this was a risky one. I've never actually like opened up a carburetor before and messed around with it. I just watched a YouTube video on what to look for in here, like what to do. Everything that's supposed to move is moving freely. The float seems to be good. This thing moves. Everything that the video told me to look at looks good. This is something that I never really did before. I guess I probably should have done that before we put it in the first time, but nothing that it said needed to be like loosened up, or you know, if this is broken, replace it, or anything like that. None of those things were wrong. As far as I can see, nothing here needs to be replaced. Everything here looks good. And then, actually, where's the keys for this thing? You know what your dad was saying to do is put a cup of gas when I'm first trying to start it, like dump it into there. I'm pretty sure this is 91. I don't know if it makes a difference. Might like it a little bit more. Actually, it's on my pants. Why is this my life? And I'm gonna smell like gas for the rest of the day. See if I can get any more out of this. There's literally like a drop. Why? That other gas was a lot nicer than this gas is. That gas kind of looks like pee. I guess we were left with very few options. Just crank it, see what happens. Okay, can you crank it? We're not getting spark. So I pulled the spark plug while Courtney was cranking it to see if we could get any spark. I touched it all up here. We're not getting any spark. So that to me means that something is wrong with this guy. But this thing sends a signal to the distributor to spark. Everything in here is relatively new and replaced, and you can see we had oil pressure. The oil's going back down this line now. So this thing was working, this thing is working, this is the only piece left. This is the worst. While I'm thinking about what we're gonna do about this, look at the brake pads that this old car takes. These are the world's dinkiest brake pads I think I have ever seen. Look at the, what is this gonna stop? Look at this in size comparison to my hand. The Civic's rear pads are bigger than this. This is the tiniest thing. We may as well keep making progress. Aha! I see why these weren't here. I was about to put it on and I realized why they probably were never on here before, because there's not one of these guys, these little clips that sits on the back here that holds everything together, and there should be two little rods or whatever these things are that kind of go side to side. So I took this wheel off first, and I actually realized that this side has lots of brakes left. This one doesn't even need to be replaced at all. This one's actually like, all right. That in this box, I do not have those little brake clips. And I know for a fact I don't have any of those brake clips over there because I would have noticed them at the time of me sorting through parts. So I can't really put these on because I need, it looks like 2 pins and then that little clamp on the back. Hey, we're just taking L's today. I did cut down 2 bolts here that I'm gonna use to just kind of hold this thing up out of the way though. Because it has been like awkwardly tied back here with whatever that electrical wire is that I just threw away. And every time you roll the car around, you just hear this thing like scraping around back there. So that's not ideal. I think a lot of this stuff's kind of happening for a good reason. Like not being able to do this, just gonna force a new full brake job, which is obviously gonna be a lot better, a lot safer.
Hi, Bobby.
Hi, Valley.
Guess what?
What?
So I went to my house the other day just to grab something. I was looking for something, and I just found a thing of goodies that I wanted to bring.
Okay. Okay.
A fuse block happened to be one of them, and Lordco doesn't sell it.
Really?
Yeah.
That is like the 10 out of 10 luckiest thing that I have ever heard.
Yeah.
That was the most perfect move you could have done, dude.
Yeah.
One of the last things that we need to do is we need to get all this wiring kind of tucked up. Because I was saying last time that we don't have the dash in there because we can't get the dash until the wiring's done. And we didn't know about the wiring, but Derek came here when he dropped off all these parts and he was just like, listen, make it work, make the turn signals work, make the headlights, taillights, make the minimum work. That's all he wants. So I was trying to push him to get like an actual wiring specialist in here to do it, and he was like, just do what you guys can and make it work. So we're gonna make it work. And by we, I mean Brett. Well, at least now I'm out of stuff to do, so I can help you as much as I can. So just tell me what you need, and then if you wanna wait till we're starting to kind of explain it.
Yeah, well, the first thing is I wasn't sure like that we have these things. Those are just flashers.
Okay.
That's the turn signals right there. Super easy.
Derek's wiring harness that he bought for this thing came with like this entire fuse block, but the problem with this fuse block is that it's just a fuse block.
Yeah, there's no powers for anything.
There's no powers for anything, and it's a generic one. So
it's basically just for signals.
Yeah.
So I don't.
It's literally just a fuse block, but someone else made it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use one of these guys as basically our own fuse block. So something like the fuel pump, when I put this thing in here, I said that this needs an ignition source because right now we were just putting the battery on, and when we connect it, it comes on. So what we'll do is we'll run power to this little fuse block, and then we'll plug in the fuel pump, for example, to here. And then when you turn on the battery, this guy will get switched on, or sorry, this will go from an ignition source. So when you turn on the battery, this will get power, which will let this turn on. At least this one has a power source. That one doesn't even have a power source, so everything would need its own power anyways. And using that one's gonna be more work, is what I'm trying to say. Wiring, very hard to explain, and like really boring to show. But we're gonna make this work. Yeah, it worked.
Really?
Yeah. Hey! Hell yeah, brother! That one's not going, but it could be the bulb. This one's good. Do 4 ways. We're making progress. Okay, so flip this. We should have low beams, right? That's what's plugged in?
Yeah.
So, boom! We got low beams, side markers, and we got the rear running lights, which is sick. Oh my god, you can't even tell on camera. What's going on here? Focus. Okay, can you press the brakes? Will it work?
Should. Ready?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, dude. That is good. I like it. It just takes forever to get this stuff figured out. And hit me with some signals. Hit the hazard, buddy. That is beautiful. So now we just got to wire up the signal wire for the reverse light. I don't know where that goes. Right here, there's this little thing that says lights, and there's a little hole where you'd expect a switch to be. So we're gonna put a switch, that switch, and when you flick it on, low beams come on, and we'll put a secondary switch for high beam. Around here, and I actually did this little trick for you guys. If you use hockey tape, you guys can take hockey tape and you can actually wrap up wires. It's kind of like making it into like its own little loom. I like it because it's not gonna get old and frail and crunchy like the looms do. And you can just kind of wrap it up like this and it just looks super clean. So we had like a bunch of wires coming in from over there, and now there's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 wires wrapped up in this. And it just looks like one solid black loom to over there. I think it's super nice and it's super cheap and easy to do. So a little tip for anybody that ever does wiring like this, if these weren't all individual, I would have wrapped them up also. Just grab a roll of hockey tape. So this is where we made it to. This whole Opel project was something like super different. And you guys knew the whole time that like it's a car that we normally wouldn't even touch. And I did it because I wanted to help out one of my friends. And that was like the main thing. And it kind of sucks, and I don't like the way this is being left off, but just the way 2020 is just destroying everybody right now. It's making even things like this super hard to do and finish and keep up with. And essentially, like, where we got it to right now, almost everything is done. The lights are all working, the turn signals are all working, the trunk needs to be rekeyed so it still kind of opens a little bit. We did just throw the dash up there. The dash isn't fully complete because we don't know, like, when you put the windshield on, it's like a weird little trim piece that you gotta pull a piece and then it kind of seats. So we didn't want this to be pushed right up against there and then you can't pull the trim. I don't know, it's a weird setup. So we didn't bolt the top bolts on yet. And then we basically got everything in here to the point where it should be running. It just doesn't. So obviously I don't like losing the cars, and obviously I don't like finishing a series like this on a note where I can't, like, you know, take this to the original owner and show it to him and have like a reaction and all that stuff. But right now I wouldn't want to do that anyways because the original owner is older and I don't want to go there and like expose him to anything that I have or get exposed to anything that he, like, it's just, everything right now sucks, and I'm trying to recommend that you guys are staying safe, and I don't want to be going out there just to make a good video and not being safe myself. So what sucks is that this is where we're gonna call the Opel build. I hate saying I'm done with something that isn't done. I helped out as much as I possibly could. Brad helped me help out as much as he possibly could. We did like a crazy amount of wiring today that we just couldn't really show you guys because it's kind of boring, but something like this taught me a lot. Like, it taught me I don't want to do this again. And you probably feel the same way. Like, unless it's a car that we bought.
I don't have the motivation because personally I'm not going to drive it. Like, you know, stuff was working and we never took a break for 2 weeks or however long it was.
Yeah, I was gone for a good week and a half.
Exactly, and it's just kind of like you come back to it and now you got to work on this again.
And the problem is, like I'm saying, and then we find that, okay, so the brake thing needs to be ordered. That is such a tiny little piece.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to find. We gotta get that igniter thing, so I'm saying at least 2 weeks. Right now, Amazon Prime is taking about a week and a half.
Really? They don't do the next day anymore?
I ordered my thing before I left.
Yeah.
And it didn't get here till the day before I got home. That was Prime, it was said next day.
Yeah, no, that's not.
We definitely learned a lot. I'm excited for everybody that got to like watch it and see us kind of like struggle and hate our lives, but eventually almost complete it. My one piece of advice for you guys today is learn when to throw in the towel. My whole thing is stay committed, stay committed, stay committed, make sure you do it. But there's always a point with some things where, and when it's okay to just let it go. Right here, we've done as much as physically possible and it is time to let it go. You were a giant pain in my ass. That's all. I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are not just here because the Opel, but you're here because you watch every video, there's a lot of really cool videos coming. I know I probably said this so many times. All right, I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out and stay committed.